Alright, this is a fan replacement, motor fan replacement for any S10 or R10, Simplicity S10 models or R10 models. And here you go. We're gonna take out the hood, 2 screws. Hood hinges off from the front, and we're going to slide the belt off. I just rotate it until it and I put pressure this direction, and that causes that belt to start tracking, and then it just rotates off. Then we got 5 screws, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're gonna take those out. That's gonna take the motor loose. Notice the sticker on the motor is always on the top for reassembly when you're putting it back together. Okay, intake cover comes off, and now the motor comes out. And then what you can do is you can just rotate it slightly. It's going to get you access to these 4 screws here to open up the fan chamber, or the fan compartment. I'll take our 4 screws out. If the machine is wobbling a lot, if it's got a lot of movement, this direction, if it's moving a lot, you can suggest to replace these pivot bushings on older machines, and that helps clear up any loose tolerances there. So we've got those 4 screws off, and we're going to vice grip the very end, not the belt, the pulley, but the very end of it with some vice grips. That's tight, and then we're going to, this is a normal thread. Sometimes they're a left-hand thread, but these are normal. And you got a nut to come off, and your fan goes off, and then a lot of times these will have cracks in them or a chipped off blade. In this case, I'm pulling this one out and putting it back in for the video. This one came in because the fan nut actually was loose, so it was making some noise. So all I needed to do actually was to tighten it up, but I needed to record a video for this repair. So there's always a washer here, and you can actually pull this washer, and then you can actually pull the motor out if you ever need to replace the motor. And then that's where the second pivot bushing is. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and lubricate that. I just use Vaseline these days. It's nice and oily. Probably isn't the right thing to use, but that's what I've got right now. Anyways, slide this back on, and then we're going to put our first washer on. Now in this case, these washers are actually, I think they're identical. So, but keep an eye on which washer goes first, if they are different. Then our fan, then our washer, and then our nut. And we've got the vice grip still on. I'm going to tighten this down, and you want to tighten it down really, really firmly. Alright, pop the vice grips off, put your fan cover back on, and your 4 screws. These are actually different screws. If you can see, they're actually kind of like a flat, they don't have like a sheen to them. I don't know if you can tell, but they're 4 screws, and they're kind of like a flat black color. I don't know if they're that much different, but I always, if possible, always try to put the exact same screws in the exact same places. Put these back in. Okay, and then you're going to make sure your motor is back orientated correctly. Put a little bit of Okay. Motor is going to be, you see the wires are going to a little notch right in here. Get your intake cover back on, and then you got to go 5 screws back in place. Everything back reverse order. Okay, and then getting the belt back installed. You can get it started, and then you can do the same thing in reverse. Just slide it as you're moving it this direction, pulling it forward and in towards the motor, and you'll see it'll start tracking. And then just watch down in here. You want to make sure you have correctly tracked the belt back onto the pulley of the brush roll. Okay, and you can see our little locators. There's 3 blue tabs here, and that's how that brush roll installs, or I'm sorry, the hood installs our 2 screws. Okay, and that's it. And then test it out. Perfect.